Welcome back to our final segment this Saturday night of Real Estate Talk. Friend, get involved in the 7-week course Buyer Boot Camp with Heather Anderson over at Real Estate Concierge. Now, there's 2 ways you can get in touch with her. 855-732-6700, 855-732-6700, or you can go to World Wide Web, and you can type in that Google search bar up there, owntx.us. Now, Heather,
yes.
That was a mouthful.
Wow,
for me,
Willie, that was
because
nice.
I got a beeper still on my belt, right? But I like crowdsourcing. We talked about that in the last segment. What are we finishing up on, dear?
All right, we're gonna talk about. So Willie. God, I love to be transparent. I love to be honest. So every time I come on this show, I've talked about
And you are honest.
I try. But I talk about.
You've gotten really good at radio too.
Well, good. I hope so. I hope I can connect with some of our listeners out there and just teach them. But I try to be honest about why do you need a real estate agent? Well, why do we get paid what we get paid if we're good at it? Well, why do we get paid at all? How do we get paid, right? I really try to be open and transparent about that because everybody has that question.
Let me throw 2 questions to our audience tonight.
Okay.
If you were getting a divorce, would you go into court without a lawyer? If you committed a crime, would you go into court without a lawyer? The answer is no. Mm-hmm. Right?
Right.
So when I talk about real estate agents, I can give the same scenario. If you go have a surgery, would you get it done without a surgeon?
Right. No way.
Real estate agents are worth every nickel you pay them. Now, buying a piece of real estate through this course, you're not going to pay any of the real estate fees.
Right.
You're simply going to have Heather and her crew there to guide you through the process of negotiating a better deal.
That's right. Willie, in 99% of cases, the listing agent, the person that works for the seller, that lists a property that you, our listener, sees on Zillow.com, Realtor.com, Trulia.com, all those 4,000 websites that pull this data, those listing agents pay us to bring the buyer, and you get free representation. I'm not kidding. There's no gimmick.
I think it's free in terms of paying, but I think it's a necessary representation.
Yeah.
Well, let me just say this. For someone listening right now, I'm going to say a very bold statement. For someone listening right now that can't get that if you're buying a piece of real estate and use a great real estate agent, I got to make sure I say this right. Let's put that on hold.
Okay.
You get it. If you can't figure that out, you probably ought not be going to this course.
No, it's like I always
doesn't cost you anything.
It's free, and I always say to people, you don't know what you don't know, right? You don't know what you don't know, so let's teach you, right? Mm-hmm. I believe in partnerships. I believe in professional relationships. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's my fundamental value, and I feel like you can't ever give 100% to everything, right? So if you're an accountant or you're a software engineer or you're a account representative or whatever you are, okay, you're not going to be able to give 100% to that job 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and then 100% of your time to learning the craft of this industry. So you hire it, right? That's how I feel about my taxes. I hire an accountant. That's how I feel about my legal issues. I hire a lawyer. My HR issues, I hire HR representation. I believe in outsourcing. I just do. I've learned too many hard lessons. I've been to the school of hard knocks way too many times. And as I go on in my life, I'm in my mid-30s now. And as I continue to progress, I never want to look back on that decision, ever. And I just always encourage people, especially if the service is free to you, which is one of the rarest cases in the world that you get a free service, truly free as a buyer, why not take it? And I think people don't trust it. So I just try to bring that level of trust by talking candidly and honestly and building programs like this to help teach people.
Heather, if people will take our advice and do the things that we talk about here on this radio program, in 2016 you'll be a homeowner, and and then you look back in 2017. Boy, I sure am glad that I listened to those folks on Real Estate Talk, right? Because we just want you to make money and grow wealth through the dream of home ownership, which you get to live.
That's right.
You're not living inside of your 401k.
Right.
And in real estate, you get to live. It's going to make you a lot more money in your 401k. Yeah, it's all topics for debate. 7-week course, buyer boot camp. If you're thinking about buying sometimes around the end of August, September, get in touch with Heather at 855-732-6700, 855-732-6700. You can go to OWNTX.us.
That's right.
I got it all figured out.
You got it.
Remember, I'm still on the beep rates.
And you know, Willie, also, so I say like a general rule of thumb is 6 months. General rule of thumb, right? Like, it's not a hard rule. It's just what I've seen in the hundreds of transactions that I've seen. Like, that's just what I see as a norm. But if your lease ends in 2 months, right? Let's talk immediately, and we'll help you put in some things to help maybe potentially elongate that. We'll look at other options for us to go short-term places. It's not impossible. Just ask for the guidance and leadership of a professional, and they will lead you to success every time.
That's right. I think communication is everything. You know what you're talking about in the beginning of the show, foreclosure. I think the way people got in it's called life, and the way some people got in that foreclosure bind in 2008 is they stuck their head in the sand. You know, if you're communicating with the bank, well, that's some of the things you learn here, right?
Yeah.
And communication is key to everything. And at the end of the day, I think that what Heather and your company are trying to give folks is really good, sound advice. It's real advice. It's approachable advice. It's stuff that through the School of Hard Knocks y'all have learned, and you put it out there for people to buy a home. Make sure you go check out OWNTX.us. Again, OWNTX, just the number, the letter TX, not the number, .us, the 7-week course on the buyer boot camp. Heather Anderson, 855-732-6700. Again, 855-732-6700. Heather, I'm getting ready to come to break at the top of the hour. I really enjoyed this hour with you.
Cool.
And what I want my listener to understand is amongst the 25,000 plus real estate agents that are out there in Dallas, Heather Anderson this Saturday night has taken an hour out of her day to come tell you how to buy a home. It's free. Get that home. Start creating appreciation. And through real estate, you create wealth. And it takes a special kind of person to do that, to give that information out. I want to thank you for that, Heather.
Oh, Willie, thank you. It's an honor.
Yeah.
Thanks for allowing me to be part of this.
Yeah, we're going to see you next month. Same place, same time here on the Great 570 KLIF. Heather Anderson, 855-732-6700. Again, 855-732-6700. This hour was brought to you by Real Estate Concierge. We taught you the Buyer Boot Camp 7-week course. You can go to OwnTexas or TX.us, OwnTX.us. Friend, I was delighted to speak to you for the last 2 hours on the topic of real estate. 1% of the agents do 99% of the business. Real estate does indeed change people's lives to the good. And I am going to close this hour out. And this is not a pre-canned close. This is something I'm talking to you from the heart about. Heather brought this great information to you. And at the end of the day, it's all about information. And if, you know, wherever you're getting your information from, make this be known that that season has passed. Bad information is no longer acceptable in your life. good information is acceptable, you are indeed the CEO of your life, and change it through real estate. Heather Anderson, 855-732-6700. You think about that, friend. I'll see you tomorrow morning here on the Great 570 Cliff, KLIF, and next Saturday night, same time, same place. That's a wrap. I enjoyed it. We're out.